At the start. Okay. We're live. Welcome to our redo of episode 2 of the Super Subjective podcast. We're again talking about Sonic Mania, Starcraft Remastered, the SNES Classic shortages, and Nick has a few new subjects, and John has a few new subjects they'd like to talk about as well. Let me introduce you to them. Here's Nick.
Hey there, people.
And here's John.
Yo, what's up, all YouTube homies out there?
All right, we're back to me. So anyways, let's start off with the Sonic Mania. I'm super excited about this game. I didn't realize it was coming out today. I thought it was coming out on the 30th, tomorrow, but it just came out today. So I did a test stream of it on Slide 8 Fry. So those of you watching this stream, go check out Slide 8 Fry. I'm going to do a continuous stream of that game for the PC. Anyways, it's awesome. I mean, it's classic Sonic, but with new elements to it, as well as being able to use any of the Sonic characters from the Genesis era. That's Sonic, Tails, and Knuckles throughout levels from the first, second, and third game, which is pretty sweet, as well as there's new elements at each level as well. New special stages. It's a really awesome game overall, just because of the fact that it's like a classic but new. Not to mention Christian Whitehead, who's a big hardcore fan of the Sonic the Hedgehog series, made some improved versions of classic Sonic games on the on smartphones, and Sega liked him so much they hired him to be the main director, the main designer of this game. So it's definitely a huge contrast from Nintendo and their treatment of some hardcore fans who remade Metroid 2 sometime last year. I know it's kind of old news now, but the fact is, it's a complete opposite turnout. Nintendo seems to always hate it when people show their material and don't see it as free advertising. They always file copyright infringement claims or try to take it down. That's what happened. They told the guy to take down the game because it was infringement. They had every right to do so, but at least Sega had the smarts to know, oh, this guy's a fan of our series so much, he made improved versions of our games. Let's have him be in charge of this new game.
Over to me, or okay? Yeah, I'm really looking forward to playing the game. Didn't grow up with Sega, but my first experience with Sonic was Sonic Adventure Battle 2, and this has a very nostalgic feel, and I hear it's based on like homebrew versions, like ROM hack versions that the creator made. So this could be very interesting, and that's one of the games I'd like to get on the Switch. Over to you, Nick.
Well, if we're talking about Sonic Mania, I think I've made a statement about it. But if I'm going to say that, well, over the years, Sega has, well, it's kind of been falling off the radar, Not a lot of people, notice that, or if I may say, that not a lot of people have noticed that it was struggling to keep up with, the major gaming industry. But this way that, I think with this game of Sonic Mania, I'm guessing it'll have a way of bringing it back on the map. And it's all thanks to this one fan that just managed to put a kind of a redo the whole game, It just shows that fan appreciation and artistry, I like to say, and engineering can accomplish many great things for any industry. What do you, Sean?
Yeah, I agree. Definitely. And like you said, Nick, you're absolutely right. Sega has actually struggled as of late because of some bad games they made not too long ago. And but fortunately, they've definitely learned from their mistakes, and they're very appreciative of their fans allowing a game like this to exist. And well, actually, putting Christian Whitehead in charge of the reins. not to mention, Sega is also releasing their own 25th anniversary game, Sonic Forces, which has classic Sonic and modern Sonic, much like Sonic Generations from their 20th anniversary did. So I'm kind of curious about that game and all. Anyways, I'm hoping you guys can see this. I'm showing you some footage from my earlier stream of Sonic Mania. I hope this is clear on the screen and everything. And my jumping right there is because I was trying to use that drop dash. I have no idea how it works. I know it's a drop dash. Can't use it. Haven't figured out how to use it, but whatever. Anyways, let's move on to our next topic. And that would be... let one of you guys lead off for the next topic, actually, since you guys have other things you want to share.
Well, there's been a bit of I'm glad Sega's having success, but right now, looks like Nintendo's really not doing a great job with their stock and supply and demand for the SNES Classic, much like with the NES Classic. I mean, I don't want to say it's completely Nintendo's fault because I know these things can be expensive to make. But, they should really be prepared to how they package and market these games because, they underestimated how many people wanted to actually buy these. And, now it's really kind of biting in the ass. And it's not the first time this happened, with the Amiibos, the GameCube Wii U adapter. This has not been the first time. Even the Switch right now is, just getting more stocks now, so...
Yeah, exactly. It's quite a bit frustrating, the fact that Nintendo just doesn't ever supply enough product for the demand that there is. There's so much demand for Nintendo products, and they just never supply enough. And hopefully someday that will change. I know some people will defend them saying, well, it's expensive to, keep manufacturing more and more consoles, and it's like, okay, well, I haven't heard any issues about a PS4 shortage, and that's winning the current generation. So, I think it's Nintendo's fault. It's not just the fact that it's because it's expensive, or costs money. It's the fact that they're just not really trying to ship enough. It's been like that, like you said, John, with the GameCube controller adapters for Wii U. I was lucky and actually pre-ordered one at GameStop and got it for the $20 price that it was selling at the time. But I had to wait several months to actually have that opportunity. And then, of course, there's the Amiibos that are so hard to get because they never supply enough of them. I mean, in order for me to get a Sonic Amiibo, because he's my favorite character in Smash Brothers, I had to pre-order one on Walmart.com. Otherwise, I probably never would have gotten the Amiibo in the first place. So, Nick, you said you wanted something to talk. You want to talk about something, right?
Yeah, as a matter of fact, I did. I want to talk about the subject of indie games.
Okay.
It's one of those games that are created by, shall we say, fans or underdeveloped creators.
Yeah.
I've come across a few of them on such channels like Markiplier, Jacksepticeye, PewDiePie, and many others. And I have to say,
do you have any footage you want to show us, Nick?
Wait, what was that?
Do you have any footage you want to show us, Nick? Do some screen share, show us some footage.
Well, I will show us some pictures because I don't want to spoil anything. But
okay.
Let me just okay, stand by.
All right. Well, then I'll move on to my.
This one this one for once.
What game is this? Oh, One Night at Flumpty's? Is that like a spoof version of Five Nights at Freddy's or something?
Whoops, that's not the one. Yeah, like this one.
Oh, Five Nights at Freddy's. Well, they've been making those for years now. To be honest, I'm not really much of a fan of the Five Nights at Freddy's series. I've watched footage of it, and I haven't played it before, but I've watched footage of it. And sometimes with some games, I have to watch footage to decide whether I want to get the game. And I got bored watching the game. I got bored of it. It just, you're sitting there most of the time with not much else to do. Like, if I want to, like, indie games I'm interested in the future, Shovel Knight looks like a fun game. It's like, DuckTales, except you're using a shovel. Then, of course, there's upcoming is Wargroove. Now I want to talk about that. Wargroove, I'm a little annoyed about this one because Wargroove is very much identical to a former Nintendo series run by their subsidiary Intelligent Systems called Advance Wars. And they haven't made an Advance Wars game since 2008, which actually was their best Advance Wars game that they've ever made. But for some reason, they've neglected the franchise and never bothered to make any more of them. And as a result, it took years and years, and now there's not even an official one. Instead, there's an indie game that's pretty much identical to the game of Advance Wars. Those of you who have played Advance Wars will know what I'm talking about. It looks completely identical to Advance Wars, except it takes place in the past. You move and attack, and your units attack in groups, just like in Advance Wars. It's really the same game, just taking place in the past, but by a indie developer, all because there was demand for another Advance Wars game, but Nintendo or their subsidiary Intelligent Systems didn't even bother with it. And that just annoys the heck out of me. I'm glad at least an indie developer made basically an Advance Wars clone, but it would have been nice to get an official Advance Wars release from Intelligent Systems, but that's just with Nintendo, I guess.
Yeah, and
what happened to John?
Uh-oh. Looks like we've ran into some technical difficulties again.
That's okay. I'll just show some footage to compare the two side by side to get people occupied. Nick, try reaching John. I'll take care of this from here.
Right. I'll send him the link.
Damn it. I'm sorry for anybody who's watching right now or who watches the released video later. This is not going to be a constant thing. It's been an issue with John's phone. He, not to mention, he's using Sprint, a network I'm getting sick and tired of using. So, as a result, it's he's had connection problems because he's using his phone and he's using it on the crappy Sprint network that used to be great, but now it sucks. So, let me get some stuff on screen. John joined the call.
Yeah, sorry about that. I'm having
what just happened? What happened, John?
I'm having some technical difficulties. My phone's too hot right now. It was about to turn off, but I pressed the OK to cancel it.
Why would your phone be hot? You're inside your house.
It heats up. I put on battery saver mode, but it's still takes up a lot of energy. Plus, my phone's at 2%. So
I thought you plugged it in.
I guess that's another.
I did plug it in. This phone sucks.
No, mine does too. Not to mention, you got the Sprint network, and let's face it, they're not as good as they used to be.
No, not at all.
I'm actually now.
Well, luckily.
Sorry, what?
Well, luckily, John, you told us that you're getting a new laptop, right?
I am. Yeah, I ordered one. I'm going to be using it primarily for work, but secondary will be for the podcast and other things.
Hopefully by
one game I really look forward to playing when I get my laptop. I played a little bit at my dad's, but Mega Maker. That game's a lot of fun. I highly recommend it, especially
Mega Maker.
Yeah, it's like Mario Maker.
All right, John, do you want to talk about Mega Maker now? Because I'll show it on screen if you want to talk about it for like an extent.
Please do.
All right, let me get some footage of it online. Sorry for this, guerrilla style video being done. I guess this is some footage right here, so I'll show some person playing Mega Maker named Dookie Shed. So check out his channel to watch some more Mega Maker. This is free advertising, so don't sue Dookie Shed. With a name like Dookie Shed. So anyways, let's see. He's playing the game. Talk about it some more, John. I'm interested to learn some more.
Well, a lot of the biggest key differences is they do, like, unlike Mario Maker, where you have 4 different eras of Mario, like Mario Brothers. You can play. It's basically they basically stay in one era, the NES era, but you'll get nearly like every enemy. I think you can unlock every style change. Currently, you only get like a few, and you can like also, you probably don't really have nearly as much. You have a much more expansion.
Oh, look at that end! It's like Super Mario Brothers right there. All right, continue, John.
It's funny. Yeah, basically you have more range to design a level, and you can have more enemy fights. There's no limit. Plus, you can make your level as short as you want, as long as you want. You can make your own rules. So yeah, there's a lot of if you're a hardcore Mega Man fan, this game's definitely for you. You can also name the levels. Despite
I just saw that level. He named it. What the hell do you mean this is not Hell Wheel or whatever?
Yeah, so it's pretty cool. It's a nice throwback to, like, the Mega Man games that are more nostalgic. I played some of the Super Nintendo Mega Man games, but I think, like, when I think of Mega Man, this is what I think of when it comes to Mega Man.
Same here. Well, John, now you mentioned that thing about Super Mario Maker and how they do. They give you different level styles to look at, like Super Mario Brothers, Super Mario Brothers 3, Super Mario World, and New Super Mario Brothers U. You think at some point in the future they might do that with Mega Maker, have you be able to switch between Mega Man NES, Mega Man X, and maybe even Mega Man ZX or whatever the hell other Mega Man sub-series there are?
Yeah, maybe for a sequel.
Okay, yeah, that'd be pretty cool. Hopefully this means that Capcom actually finally gets out there and is like, hey, why don't we make an official one? And then they'll do their own take on it and adding more improvements since it's officially by Capcom and stuff. That'd be pretty sweet. The thing is, I'm worried that they'd probably take down the independent one that's been made, though, just so that people would buy the official one that they made. So that could be an issue. But yeah, I wouldn't mind having an official version just to have it.
Yeah, I can agree with that logic.
All right, I was going to show what is it? Super Mario Maker footage, but I didn't want to look for it.
Fair enough.
So let's get back to our screens. Nick, why do you have a newspaper there?
Oh, you were waiting for me?
I told you earlier that when we do three-way broadcasts, it shows everything.
You said three-way.
So now they saw you bring out a newspaper.
Hey, Sean, you said three-way.
Well, I just thought you two were in deep conversation. I just didn't want to interrupt.
Okay, well, all right. Anyway, well, now they know now they know you're a dinosaur because you still read the newspaper. Oh!
and John just ruined his microphone.
Oh.
Anyway, well, hey, dinosaurs are awesome.
They are awesome. They make a lot of money at the box office.
Yeah. Hashtag Jurassic World.
Yeah, Jurassic World. That's true. Good point on that. Well, let's get back on topic.
Yeah, especially my topic.
Okay.
You didn't cut me off mid-topic.
Let's start with you, Nick.
Anyway. Well, like I said, about these indie games, especially, there is one thing that, makes me don't want to play them, but makes me want to watch others play them. And it's a pretty easy thing to say because, well, you get stuff like this.
Yeah, that's One Night at Flumpy's. That seems like a parody to Five Nights at Freddy's to me, but okay.
As you can see, it's filled with these jump scares.
Yeah, but that's just those games. There's a huge variety of indie games. Like I mentioned earlier, Shovel Knight. I showed footage of that War Groove game. There's a huge variety, and it really depends. Like, I'll say this: I haven't actually played indie games that much. I really haven't. In fact, I don't think I've ever actually played an indie game full on out.
Well, let's talk about some other.
Your back is turned, by the way. But
let's talk about some other indie games I came across. Like, let me just do. Oh, here's one. This one's actually gained a lot of ground and is gained very popular on the indie gaming circuit.
Okay.
And I think you might like this
one. You have something to show us, Nick. Otherwise, we're gonna have to just move on.
Hold on. Let me get a picture of it.
Hey, John, are you doing all right? You seem to be going on and off on your video feed.
I'm sorry, just checking the battery.
Oh, okay.
You were looking.
Okay. Here's an indie game you probably heard of.
All right. Well, show it.
This one.
Sounds familiar. But so it's a brand new one. What's this game supposed to be about, Nick? Why don't you explain it and show us some more pictures while you talk about it?
Okay, so apparently what Hello Neighbor is about is that the process. Here's the story. You are a new neighbor who's moved into the neighborhood, and you somehow encounter, and this is you. This is your character right here.
Okay.
And I forget his name. I think his name is Bob.
Okay,
and
don't worry about the name. Just explain what you do.
And you have a new next door neighbor, this guy.
Oh my God!
Yeah, creepy.
He looks pretty evil indeed.
So creepy, dude. He looks like a pedophile.
Well,
oh my God!
Really, John? Really?
Yes, the mustache.
And
the conniving evil smile. Yeah.
Here's the thing. He lives in this. And here's the thing. He lives in this house, and somehow you, the new neighbor's curiosity gets piqued, and the object of the game is for you to go into his house and find out what your new neighbor is up to. And the object of the game is not to get caught by him.
Okay.
Because
so it's definitely a horror game. They've done similar stuff like that. They've done similar stuff like that with what the hell was that horror game online on the PC?
And as you can see, he lays out like traps and such, Yeah. And there's something mysterious and there's something weird going on in his house that we have no idea what's happening, but our curiosity is piqued. There's a lot of game theories going around like he's trying to summon the devil, or he's hiding dead bodies or something like that. I mean, and if you look at his house like this, I mean, his house has a train on it, a train in it.
That's awesome. I'd love to have a train in my house.
You see, it comes in like different forms. It comes like an alpha 1 to 4.
Okay.
And all I'm just saying is,
Nick, I think everybody who's watching gets the point. We don't have to keep talking about every single detail about one game. Otherwise, we'll be here for like 6 hours. Okay, we can't talk about for that.
I'm just saying that's one of the indie games I came across, and
that sounds interesting. It reminds me of that horror game I saw. It was Clueless Gamer. Conan O'Brien played some horror PC games. It was the last game he played. I forget what it's called, but it was really awesome because you're stuck in this insane asylum, and you are pretty much helpless because you're just a reporter, and all these psychopaths you're having to deal with and you have to run away from. It was a pretty creepy ass game, so it kind of makes me think of that, except this is different with more colorful graphics than that one. Now I want to talk about the next game, and that's Starcraft Remastered. We won't have to go over this.
Hold on, Sean. Before you continue on, I think I know the game that you're talking about. Just give me a second here.
I can't give you a second, Nick. If we keep delaying, we're not going to be done with this. Just find it, okay? Anyways, this is really unprofessional what we're doing right now. Anyways, Starcraft Remastered. All it is a high-definition version of the original Starcraft with a new matchmaking system for online play. Those are cool, but why call it remastered if all you're doing is upgrading the graphics and not improving the flaws that exist in the game from 20 years ago? Like, I'll show some footage of how incredibly stupid the AI in the game is and some of the other flaws that are just a pain in the ass to deal with. Let me get to it as soon as I can. This will take a little bit of time. but I'll get to it pretty soon. I know it's late in the video that IGN. There it is, the Dragoon. He's still a complete moron like he is in the original game. There's clearly a gap down there he can walk right through, no problem, but he keeps walking back and forth because for some reason he doesn't understand the commands. And then you can only select 12 units at a time, and that's an annoyance in itself right there. Imagine being a Zerg player who has to outnumber all your enemies to actually be able to, defeat your forces. Here's some footage I recently did a practice live stream of StarCraft 2 Legacy of the Void. As you can see, I can select multiple buildings at a time as opposed to only one at a time, so I can produce multiple units at a time with ease. Not to mention, later in the video, if I can find it, it's really late in the video, though, for me to find this, though, so it's going to take a while to find. But, okay, so there's my forces coming in, and I control more than 12 at a time. I can control as many of them as I want. I could press the tab key to go through them easily and easily switch between which units' abilities I want to use. And then I'll just show you right here how easily they go up this little gap. Pretty much all of them have gone through with ease with one click. There are a few units stuck, but it's an easy fix. I'll show you in just a second. And when I notice I suck at this game right now. There you go. I clicked once. They all moved instantly. In StarCraft Remastered, that would have not happened. And that's one thing that annoys me. They call it a remaster, but all it is a high-definition version of the original game. They didn't improve any of the flaws that are persisting in the game even to today. And that's why I think, as a newcomer to the series, you should probably start with StarCraft 2, preferably Wings of Liberty, since that's the original StarCraft 2, because Heart of the Swarm is the first expansion, and Legacy of the Void is the second expansion, so those come later. But anyways, I think John had something to say about it, but John, you're not appearing on screen at the moment. What's going on?
Sorry, it's at 1%. I conserve the power.
Okay, more technical difficulties.
All right.
At some point, he's getting that laptop so we can all stream this on a computer, and he won't have to worry about his phone. Oh, there you are, John. I'd like to hear what you had to say.
I was just saying, difference between what?
Oh, go on.
No, I was just basically gonna say, I'm not sure why they call it remastered, but I do know that it'll be a great way to get newer fans into the game and not have to worry about, like the context of the gameplay. So I only play a little. I've only played a little bit of StarCraft, but if I was, that would intrigue me. That would like make me think like new players could get into it without having to be confused.
What do you mean by confused? What exactly are you referring to, John?
Well, I mean, what I'm referring to is people might think it's like you have to. This is the game you can start with. You don't have to start with like these expansion packs with StarCraft 2. Even though StarCraft 2 may have better, more familiarity with the gameplay, have more, not as many limitations. So, that's what I mean.
Okay, well, John, you actually prove a very, very valid point right there, actually. Because yes, those who want to get into the series but want to save some money, definitely go with StarCraft Remastered. Just know this: it's going to be a little bit hard to adapt to the game because you're limited to selecting only 12 units at a time. You can only select one building at a time, so you can only produce one unit at a time. But you have to toggle through the buildings, whatever. And then you have to worry about the stupid AI not going through easy gaps they should easily go through. At least in StarCraft 2, there's better controls. If you do want to start with StarCraft 2, which I recommend because it has the better controls anyways, it improved upon the flaws of the original. You would start with Wings of Liberty because that's the original StarCraft 2. Heart of the Swarm is the next expansion. Legacy of the Void is the next expansion. You don't have to get all three of those games to enjoy the StarCraft 2 experience. The expansions, all they do is continue the story, and they add a few new units to the game to add a little more depth. But probably the most balanced would be just Wings of Liberty because they had more time to balance it because they haven't added new units to it. But I understand your point, John, about how, yeah, it would be a lot cheaper to get StarCraft Remastered, plus it would be confusing because there's so many StarCraft 2s now. So I guess in the defense of StarCraft Remastered, it's cheaper, and you're not going to be confused.
Okay, it's kind of like Street Fighter 2, you know, where they had like all these like, you know, Turbo Edition and Tournament Fighter, Hyper Edition.
You're right. I didn't even think about that. Just like when AVGM was reviewing Street Fighter 2010, there was one Street Fighter 1, but there was a whole bunch of versions of Street Fighter 2, 3, 4. It just won't stop with the sequels to Street Fighter. Well, anyways, I think we've pretty much covered everything we could. What were you able to find, Nick? Were you able to find images or footage of that one game you're wanting to bring up real quick?
You mean the one that you were talking about, where you are a guy that has a video camera and goes into an insane asylum?
Yeah, did you find an image or footage of that?
As a matter of fact, I do, and it's a pretty famous indie game that's been gaining a lot of ground. And let me just find the image, and give me 4, 3, 2, 1. Here it is.
Oh, Outlast. I had a feeling that's what it was called, but yeah, that's the game I was bringing up. That game you were talking about with the neighbor, it reminded me of this game right here, because you're walking into into a facility, unknown territory, and I was pretty stoked about that. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, and here's your character.
Oh, I didn't even know you actually even get to see what he looks like. That's cool.
This is we play this guy in Outlast.
Yeah. All right, so John, you had one more thing to say. It was about a Pokemon game.
Two more things.
Okay,
yeah.
Go on.
Currently I have, in Pokemon Go, I have 4 Moltres, 3 Zapdos, 3 Articunos, 2 Zapdos, and 1 Lugia. 4, 3, 2, 1. So there's only 2 days left to catch these things. And, you know, I could really use a break of that Kit Kat bar right now.
Yeah, it's been...
For those of you who don't get that,
like a year, and I returned to it. Now I'm level 10, and I probably have virtually no chance to catch any legendaries at the moment, because it's been so long as I played. I'm such a low level. Actually, I'm curious, Nick, what do you think about this, about Pokemon Go and what's going on with the game?
If you really want my honest opinion about Pokemon Go, and I know I'm going to get a lot of hate comments for this, I don't like it.
Okay.
I think it's a waste of time, and I think it's just a way for people to never stare up from their phones again, and for them to go fall off a cliff without even looking where they're going.
Oh, yeah, that's your opinion.
Well, that's still the fault of the individual for not looking where they're going. That game tells you where to watch where you're going every single time you turn it on.
Yeah, it does now, but back then it didn't. And it's from my experience.
It actually did. Even when I first played it a year ago, it still told you.
Well, you know what I think? That Nintendo or whoever created that game ought to do with it?
Niantic,
yeah.
Say what?
Don't worry about it. What should the company do? Niantic, what should they do?
Niantic? Well, what they should do is that, Google Glass?
I never used it.
Well, hardly anyone ever did. But what I think is that they should use... In a minute, Mom! Sorry about that, folks. It's dinner time where I'm at.
Okay.
Anyway, as I was saying, what they should do is that they should take like that version of Google Glass and make Pokemon Go like VR. That way you can like wear like glasses shapes like this, have like a little electronic like posted right above here, and then you can just like see Pokemon right in front of you, and you can capture them and take them to centers and such like that. And I think that would like very much improve the game for anyone who's a fan of it. But for me, not me. I rather play Candy Crush.
Yeah, Candy Crush
and I'm not ashamed.
Rip off of Bejeweled. You should play that instead. dead.
That's too
Hey,
easy.
what's that?
Candy Crush couldn't be more popular than Bejeweled because it freaking ripped off Bejeweled. It totally did, just like how Angry Birds ripped off Crush the Castle.
Hey,
Now,
I like Angry Birds.
but it's a ripoff of Crush the Castle. I'm
Never
sorry,
played.
it's exactly the same game. Just the birds are boulders, the slingshots are catapults, and the pigs are knights. That's the it's exactly the same game. Anyways, that thing you mentioned about Pokemon Go doing in the VR thing, doesn't that kind of add to that problem you claimed Pokemon had with people walking off cliffs? I mean, if they're going to see the game in front of them while they walk, wouldn't they be less likely to see where they're going?
Think about like Google Glass. Think about it, will you? It's like you can see where you're going. It's like, you can see the grass, the trees, or wherever you're walking. And then, and you're wearing these special glasses that help you see. It's like you can see where you're going, and then you see a Pokemon right in front of you. And,
I know he's
like John's glasses. You see John's glasses here? Imagine if they had like electronics put onto them, and so that you can see where you're capturing Pokemon.
I like it.
Kind of like Google Glass. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, I see what you're saying.
Well, anyway, you got to catch them all, right?
Not for me.
I'm never going to catch them all. There's like 1,000 freaking Pokemon if you count all 7 generations. And eventually, I'm pretty sure Pokemon Go is going to eventually, at some point, go to the 7th generation, I'm sure. And by that time, the main series will probably be in like the 10th generation or something.
I'm not catching them all because I'm stuck on level 50.
No. Hey, but listen, guys, I got to get going here pretty soon, and Nick's got to get going, but this has been a really fun experience. Next time we do a video game podcast, let's talk about the N64 Classic and what that's like.
Well, you are going to have your laptop by that time, right?
Oh, yeah.
Well, then, we should make – all right, then. So we'll be on – Sean will be on standby until we can find a good time and day for us to continue.
All right.
All right, and for those of you watching, just got to let all of you know, I'm going to be – right after this, I'm about to start a live stream of Sonic Mania on my original channel, Sly88Fry. So go there. That's my gaming channel. I'm going to be live streaming this brand new Sonic Mania. And I hope you guys check it out. Look forward to it. I'll be streaming it for quite some time. Make sure to get as much footage in there before I got to pick up my wife from work. And thank you so much for watching. Talk to you all later.
See ya.